Praise to the gods and peace to the elements. Hey world, it's your girl Corinne here, and we're back to our cardio and chat, right? I like that. So today's topic is, what is inflammation and how does it affect athletes? Well, inflammation is the body's natural response to stress, injury, and infection. Now for athletes, inflammation is a common and often necessary process, especially after intense physical activity or even competition. It's really the body's way of repairing damaged tissues and protecting against further harm. Now, when left unmanaged, inflammation can become a nuisance to performance and recovery. So it's that's when DOMS happens. Now, how is inflammation caused? Well, for athletes, inflammation typically occurs as a result of a few things. One, exercise-induced muscle damage, which is pretty much high intensity or prolonged exercise, which can cause microtears in the muscle fibers. This tends to trigger the release of inflammatory chemicals like cytokines and prostaglandins, there we go, which help initiate the repair process. You have joint stress or overuse, which is repetitive movements such as you're running, you're jumping, you're lifting, which can lead to joint inflammation, especially in high-impact sports. You have things like oxidative stress, which is intense physical activity which generates free radicals, which can damage cells and contribute to inflammation, especially if it's not balanced by antioxidants. You have injuries, right, which is acute injuries like sprains, strains, fractures that lead to localized inflammation as the body rushes blood, your white blood cells and nutrients to the affected areas. Chronic stress or poor recovery, that's basically when you have when you have inadequate rest, improper nutrition, and high training loads that can result in chronically low-grade inflammation, right? But it may persist over time. But I get asked a lot, how does inflammation truly impact our performance, right? Well, while short-term, acute, inflammation is essential for recovery and adaptation, prolonged or excessive inflammation can actually have negative impacts on our performance. And this happens because we have delayed recovery, which is persistent inflammation that can slow down muscle repair and regeneration. That leaves athletes feeling sore and fatigued for long periods. You have reduced muscle function, which is when you have inflamed tissues that can impair the ability of muscles to contract efficiently. That reduces our strength and power output. You have joint pain and stiffness, which is your chronic inflammation in joints, and that can limit your mobility and decrease. And it can also have discomfort, making training and competition more difficult. You have increased risk of overtraining, right? So chronic inflammation is pivotal, right, of the overtraining syndrome. And that's the condition where performance declines due to inadequate recovery and excessive stress. You also have your immune system suppression, because honestly, prolonged inflammation can actually just weaken the immune system, leaving the athlete more susceptible to illness and infection. You have long-term health risk in general, chronic inflammation is research linked to conditions such as arthritis, cardiovascular disease, issues in the metabolic imbalance. All of this just impacts the longevity and overall health of the athlete. Now, as an athlete, how do you balance inflammation, right, for our optimal performance? Well, this is an area I don't think that us as athletes really focus on. We kind of just go in, we spend some time recovering, then we just kind of get back to it, right? Not really noticing that if we focus more intently on the recovery, it can really help out our performance. Therefore, I feel athletes should consider striking a balance between allowing inflammation to aid in recovery and preventing it from becoming chronic, right? So strategies that can manage inflammation are kind of proper nutrition, right? Consuming anti-inflammatory foods such as your fatty fish, leafy greens, berries, and nuts that can help mitigate excessive inflammation. Making sure you get adequate rest and sleep, because recovery is essential for reducing the inflammation, allowing the body to repair itself, a lot of times at night. Now, hydration, now that's key. So staying hydrated helps flush out inflammatory byproducts and supports the overall cellular function. Now, staying hydrated doesn't necessarily mean drinking a ton of water, right? Because, and we can go into this later, But at the end of the day, when you drink out water, you're actually detoxifying, you're flushing out the system, flushing out toxins. It can also rejuvenate and regenerate. However, there is a such thing as flushing out too much, and it's too much of your cellular function, and where you're not really hydrating. And so there's a fine line between that balance of drinking H2O to flush out toxins versus the H3O to hydrate the body, right? You also have active recovery, so make sure you do low intense exercise like stretching, yoga, swimming, walking, promotes blood flow, reduces inflammation. You have things like herbal support, incorporating herbs like turmeric, ginger, boswellia, nettle. These are all natural. They naturally support the body's inflammation response. Cold therapies and compressions, doing ice bath, using compression garments, that can also reduce localized inflammation and improve recovery time. And of course, don't forget massage therapy. So important, right? So basically, understanding and managing inflammation is key for athletes who want to maintain peak performance. Recovery effectively can actually just sustain overall long-term health. Acute inflammation is part of the process, but with the right strategies, athletes can actually control chronic inflammation so they can perform at your best. Now, you know, we're going to touch on one of them key factors, right? And I'm sure you could have guessed which one we're going to go in depth. Herbal support, right? So did you know that herbs actually play a significant role in reducing inflammation after a workout, right? So post-workout inflammation is your body's natural response to muscle stress, but managing it is essential for like long-term recovery and performance. I think I said that already. So you can use certain herbs that not only reduce inflammation but also support overall healing and wellness. So you have things like turmeric, for example, contains curcumin, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory compound. Adding turmeric to like a tea, a smoothie, or even as a supplement can help ease soreness and support recovery. You have things like ginger, which is known for its active compounds like gingerol, can also reduce muscle pain, stiffness. Then there's things like boswellia, right? Or Indian frankincense, which has been shown to promote joint health and improve circulation. Other herbs that I like to consider are like your devil's claw, which is excellent for relieving muscle tension and reducing inflammation. You could do cinnamon, which has the natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Throw in a dash of echinacea, which is great to support your immune system, and it reduces swelling. Nettle is another option. It's a rich mineral that replenishes the body while soothing inflammation, right? So incorporating these herbs is really simple. You can really like brew them into like teas, blend them into shakes or tinctures, things like that. Now, unlike synthetic anti-inflammatory drugs, these herbs not only target inflammation, but also provide additional nutrients and long-term benefits for your health. Just saying. So when you integrate these natural remedies into your recovery routine, you're giving your body the tools it needs to repair and strengthen itself after every single workout. Healthier recovery isn't just about like bouncing back so you can just get back into it, right? It's about setting yourself up for consistent progress and optimal performance, giving your body the minerals it needs to repair itself over time. And as I've mentioned in other videos, unlike synthetic supplements, you give your body the minerals it needs now, the less you'll have to take later, because your body will start to uptake it, absorb it, use it, and then it's just there. So you'll find yourself recovering faster. You're just going to be stronger, have more agility. You're going to sleep better. Everything is just going to improve over time because it's going to align with your current molecular structure and create a better human being. Yes, yes. All right, so I held enough of your time. Hopefully this was helpful. Please share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And until next time, ciao for now.